Namaste and welcome to my Sun Moon Yoga YouTube channel. Today we'll be looking at a restorative pose called Supta Baddha Konasana. This is the supine bound angle pose, also known as the supine cobbler's pose. It's a very good position to relax the body, to relax the muscles in the back, to relieve fatigue, to relieve mental and physical tension, to reduce anxiety and stress. It helps to gently open up the chest, the area of the shoulders and the groins, and it's a very nice position which you can, once you learn how to do it with some simple equipment, then you've got that knowledge to bring yourself to that position when you need it. It can be very good after a stressful day at work, after a long walk, very restful, very rejuvenating. So without further ado, we will go through setting up the what you'll need for Supta Baddha Konasana. So first of all, you will need a blanket. Some of you may have a yoga bolster. This is a yoga bolster, so if you've got a yoga bolster, you can just place that down. If you don't have a yoga bolster, then you'll need a blanket. You'll perhaps also need a pillow or a yoga block as well, and maybe if you've got a yoga belt or any kind of belt will do, or strap, then that's the equipment we'll need. So if you haven't got any yoga equipment, just a blanket. If it's not a very thick blanket, so this one's very thick, then an extra blanket, a pillow and a belt. Okay, so you can pause the video, get that equipment and then rejoin me. Good. So when you're ready to set up your support, this is the support we're going to be lying on, you want to basically fold up your blanket. So I've already done it here, but what you'll want to do is to make sure that you fold the blanket so it's going to be long enough for your whole spine to rest on, and your head as well, hopefully. So here I'm just going to fold the blanket like this, like a sort of just crossing it over like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so I've got a nice support there. It doesn't have to be really high, you know, just enough to kind of raise the chest and the head higher than your diaphragm really. So I'm going to place this on my yoga mat, and then from there we're first of all going to check and see if it's the right height for us. So if you've got a very thin yoga blanket, you can just get another blanket, fold it up, place it on top, and when we keep the pillow and the belt handy, when we lie down, we're just going to test it out, and we're going to actually sit on the floor and then have the bolster right up against the back of the pelvis, and then we'll just be lying down over the bolster, blanket, whatever you've got for support. So this is the first thing we need to test, is that it's not pushing into the lower back so much. So this feels fine for me, but for some people, especially if you have a yoga bolster, this can actually be a bit too much pressure into the lower back. So there, that takes me too much into my lower back. So what I'll do is either get a pillow or another folded blanket, and I'd actually then bring that here in front of my support, sit on the blanket, and then lie down. That's going to be much better for my lower back. Okay, so that's the first thing to check. The next thing you want to check, so I'll just move all this out of the way so we've got the basic blanket. Next thing, as I lie down, I want to see if my head is not tipping back. So if I felt like my head is tipping back, it's going to feel really uncomfortable in the neck. So I could take either a yoga block, place it under the blanket or under my head, or just a cushion would do. Yeah, and we don't want the cushion too high, but we just want it so that the neck is comfortable and then the arms relax down by the side. Now with the arms, if you're on a very high support, your arms might be pulling at the chest muscles, so then you can place another cushion or support underneath each arm. and that would prevent you overstretching at the chest. And then with the legs, there's a few things you can do here. So if it felt okay, you might just, you could even straighten out the legs. Yeah. If the hips are very tight, it might pull into the lower back. So your psoas muscle going from your the top of the thigh actually into your lower back. If they're very short and tight, it might find it pulls the lower back in and up. So we can shorten those muscles by bending the knees. Another option. And then to get to the bound angle position, actually we'd use the belt. So I'll just show you this. So we take the belt. So I've got a yoga belt here with the two, like this D loop, and we're going to take the end of the yoga belt through the two loops, back over one, and then through the other like this. So that is going to give me support to take my knees out to the side, which you'll be able to see now. So as I let the knees lower, so what I want to make sure I've got my soles of the feet together. I could just be here, but actually after a while that's really going to pull at the hips. So instead of that, I want to take the edge off that pull. That's really going to be quite uncomfortable after about 30 seconds or so. It'll get too much pulling. So what I'm going to do is take the belt and keep the belt quite wide. Yeah, and then just pop it over the knees like this, and then I can adjust it. Yeah, and that's going to give me some support. So I don't want it bringing my knees too close together. I want to feel some nice opening around the hips. So I'm going to open it as wide as I can, and then just take the edge off it by pulling on that belt, so that I don't feel any tightness at any kind of pulling or too strong a stretch at the inner thighs. I want to feel nice and open around the groin, around the chest, and but without feeling a strong stretch. If you have glasses, remove your glasses. If you had an eye pillow, you can place the eye pillow over the eyes now. And then you close the eyes. Once you've got yourself comfortable in that position, close the eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, just begin to feel your body settling onto the supports. Sense where your body is supported by the cushions, by the blanket, by the floor. Sense all those points of contact. And begin to allow the whole weight of the body to completely relax. Supta Baddha Konasana will help you to relieve any tension in the back muscles, tension in the abdomen, and it will also might be able to help you sense the movement of your diaphragm. The diaphragm is just ever so slightly stretched here. So as you begin to breathe, can you sense the movement of the breath in the body? Breathing through the nose. Feel any movement in the chest, in the ribs. Feel any movement around the abdomen created by your diaphragm, the broad sheet of muscle that separates the abdominal cavity from the chest cavity and is the main breathing muscle. Begin to focus your attention on the whole of the exhalation. Try and follow the whole out breath to the very end of the breath. And then notice where the breath turns around to become the inhalation. Where is that very first perception of the breath as it comes in? And as you observe the breath leaving the body, can you follow it? Let it empty out. Wait for the new breath to come in. There might be a space before the breath enters. Observe that space between the breaths. With every exhalation, the body is relaxing a little bit more. The mind is staying present, just observing this, observing the breath. Now to move out of this position when you feel ready. Of course, you might like to stay in this a little bit longer, but when you're ready to move out, we just bring the knees up together, remove the belt, and then gently roll over to one side and push yourself up. So this was Supta Baddha Konasana, a restorative yoga posture used to promote deeper breathing and to relax the body and to reduce anxiety and stress.